Thank you. Would you please be seated? Well, good morning, friends. We come here today to honour a man whose name has become a legend to the history of Newcastle and the Hunter Valley. Please welcome Mr. Scipione.
Anthony William George Tamplin, Tony Tamplin, commenced as a trainee at the Police Academy in Redfern on the 17th of April 1978. On his 20th birthday, the 26th of June 1978, he attested as a probationary constable. And his first general duties postings were in the old 25 and 14 divisions, Chatswood and at French's Forest. In September of 1980, Constable Tamplin transferred to the traffic branch in the Safety Advisory section. And it was just over a year later that he returned to Newcastle, to the area in which he grew up, again working in traffic safety. In 1984, Tony was involved in a motorcycle accident, so serious that it could well have been career-ending. Certainly it would have ended many careers, but not Tony's. He opted to remain a police officer, serving for the next 29 years in the Hunter region as a media liaison officer. As you've heard, he became the face and the voice of policing in this region. He was also well known in the region for his charity work and as a marriage celebrant, presiding over, as you've heard again, many significant moments in the lives of local families. Throughout his service, Senior Constable Tamplin undertook extensive internal training, particularly in traffic safety and road trauma. In May of 1994, he was awarded the National Medal and later its first and second clasps. In 2004, he was awarded the New South Wales Police Medal and later its first, second, third and fourth clasps. He received a Regent citation as well as the New South Wales State Government Service Medal in recognition of his dedication and commitment to duty during the natural disaster that was declared in the Newcastle Hunter area on the June 2007 long weekend. As you will recall, the Hunter and Central Coast regions were battered by the worst series of storms to hit New South Wales in 30 years, resulting in loss of life, extensive flooding and extreme weather conditions that would see the MV Pasha Bolka run aground on Nobby's Beach. And it's my honour today to posthumously confer the National Police Service Medal on Senior Constable Tony Tamplin, recognising his ethical and diligent service in protecting this community. On the morning of Monday the 29th of April 2013, the New South Wales Police Force lost a great mate and the Hunter region lost a much-loved community figure. When we gather at a funeral to farewell a colleague, a friend, a loved one, it's understandable, perhaps inevitable, that the mood is sombre. There's always a great sadness at the loss. But somehow, that is not quite fitting for Tony. He wouldn't have wanted it, in fact he wouldn't have allowed it. Life was a joy, and put simply, Tony was a wonderful bloke, optimistic and big-hearted. In fact, everything about Tony Tamplin was big, larger than life almost. Large of frame, large of personality, and always large as a contributor. So many aspects of Tony's life attest to that fact. His involvement in charity events such as the Red Cross Blood Challenge and the Variety Bash helped bring in blood donations and millions of dollars to assist those who needed it the most. And his commitment to the Police Legacy Lunch, just last year I'm told, even though he was officially on leave. He attended the luncheon, addressed the legacy widows with his usual good humour, remembering every lady and her individual story and willingly posing for countless photos with anyone who would ask. For so many years, Tony was a constant in the lives of the people of this region. Through columns in the local newspaper, a familiar face on television with a smile that no forest of a beard could hope to hide, and a comforting voice on the radio that exuded a warmth, wisdom and authority in just the right amounts. As a celebrant who married hundreds of couples, presided over numerous baby namings, and again used that comforting voice to honour and farewell those who had passed. From the youngest of our troubled youth to our longest-standing legacy widows, Tony could genuinely and deeply connect with everyone that he met. It was, without doubt, a very special gift. A fellow officer attached to the Newcastle City Highway Patrol recounted one such story. He was working a school zone in Lambton one morning and had cause to issue a speeding ticket to a motorist. The recipient immediately contacted her local FM radio station where Tony was doing his regular question and answer segment. It was fair to say the motorist wasn't happy. That was until Tony weaved his magic. By call's end, she had actually thanked Tony and commented that he and the highway patrol officer were probably quite decent blokes. As I said, a very special gift. So many felt that they knew Tony personally, and so many were compelled to express their sense of loss on Facebook, through Twitter, in tributes to the Newcastle Herald, and by emails to the Commander, John Groughton, from his many workmates and colleagues. Quite literally, thousands upon thousands of messages, profound, heartfelt, and yet overwhelmingly joyous in their sentiments. Tony was a man of so many parts, and he wore many uniforms with great pride. 2 blues of his beloved police force. As a marriage celebrant, be it in a traditional suit or, as if you've heard, an Elvis Presley look-alike, or almost anything in between. Occasionally fronting the media in a neatly pressed police shirt, coupled with his favourite stubbies and sand shoes. After all, the cameras only filmed as far as his chest. Dressed down, greatly admired for his snooker prowess, I'm told, a 30-year investment, I understand, at the Adamstown RSL. And of course, he wore the mantle of a much-loved family member. It was 1985, at the school lecturing unit, that Constable Tony Tamplin first met Constable Sonia Russack. Now, while Sonia claimed she wasn't particularly interested in Tony at the time, she could see a certain something, and so she set about getting him fit and healthy so that he could meet the right woman. Well, it clearly worked. 10 months after they first met, Tony and Sonia were married. Soon after, their much-loved children were to arrive: Natasha, Anthony, Yelena, Annika, Alexander and Kalina. A source of enormous pride to Sonia. And pride and perhaps a little confusion to Tony, I'm told. He claimed that every time he walked past Sonia in the hallway of their home, she got pregnant. And 9 months later, yet another funny telex would be prominently and proudly displayed in the window of his office announcing the latest edition. His parents, Anne and Tony, sister Joanna and brothers Dennis, Christopher, Bruce and Matthew, nieces and nephews and other extended family and friends, all were so very important to Tony. Family members, friends, workmates. If you asked Tony how he was going, the response was so often the same: "I'm living the dream, Squire, just living the dream." Or occasionally, "I'm just so happy that I have to sit on my hands to stop myself from clapping." There can be no doubt that Tony will be greatly missed by his family, his police mates, and the wider Hunter community. There is one last person whose words I would like to share with you this morning. A few weeks back, a surprise celebration of Tony's 35 years in the job was held. And on the 22nd of April, the Newcastle Star published a story with some words for Tony. Many of you would have read them, but let me read them for you now. He said this: "Last week, I celebrated 35 years as a member of the New South Wales Police Force. I don't mention it to solicit further complimentary comments. I mentioned this because I was humbled by the people who have gone out of their way to express their gratitude to me. It is because of this tremendous current of support that I love this city. We are a community. We still recognise one another as people, not as house or unit numbers lost in a concrete maze. When Mother Nature bares her teeth, a resident falls on hard times, a person falls victim to an illness, or when crime threatens our community, we pitch in. We are lucky enough to live in a city that is still just a big country town, and recently you, once again, reinforced that to me with your comments of support. Friends, people I haven't seen for a long time and people I don't even know personally took time to comment on Facebook or other media, and I am truly humbled and thankful. We are proud because we still interact as a community. William Penn, founder of Pennsylvania, once said, "I expect to pass through this life but once. If therefore there be any kindness I can show or any good thing I can do to any fellow human being, let me do it now, for I shall not pass this way again." Thank you for showing kindness as we pass one another. What wonderful words. Now I'll admit, the New South Wales Police Force can sometimes appear like a concrete maze, as much to those within it as those who look in from outside. But it is, in essence, much like Tony's beloved Newcastle, a province, proud of its history and contribution, but proudest of all of its people. I am deeply honoured and indeed privileged to be able to represent every member of the New South Wales Police Force here today to farewell one of those people. Senior Constable Tony Tamplin, a man who served his community with honour and distinction, with a caring and a gentle heart, a loving husband and father, a cherished friend and colleague, a police officer. Our prayers travel with you, Tony. May you rest in peace. Thank you.